Okay, guys, this is going to be my review of the film The Town. I really enjoyed this town. I think I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I mean, I thought I was enjoying it a lot, but I thought maybe this will be like a 2 day event. I'll watch it in 2 days, half of it today, half of it one day, half of it the next day. I watched it the whole day, um, because I mean, I just thought it was great. I think I loved how they're able to balance the great heist scenes with, romance in some capacity, but how the relationship between that victim, Claire, and Doug, how their relationship impacts impacts the heist and impacts the missions, but um, also has to do with the missions in that she was a witness, and I think that was a very interesting idea to explore of our main character, Ben Affleck's Doug, who Ben also directed this film greatly, and him being from Boston really, I think, helped this film because he really got that Boston sense. I mean, I've never been to Boston, but you could just tell. But and so I was just kind of very into it. I was just very, very into it. I don't think and you can tell how he had a big influence on this film. I feel like you can really tell that because and I think also in The Dark Knight, he has an influence because, but for two different reasons. He has an influence on this film in the heist aspect of it, in the aspect of running away from the cops, and this idea of do I leave for a girl or do I go on one final mission and one final heist. Now Dark Knight, is the Dark Knight's influence on or Heat's influence on The Dark Knight is more on the cop and robber feel of the Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, their relationship, and how that was influential in the Joker and Batman relationship. But anyways, talking about The Town. So I think that was very interesting, and the heists itself were great. Whether you talk about the I don't. I'm just gonna classify them based on their masks. So the first time was the skeleton hood mask, then the nun, or not, then the nun heist, then the cop and EMT heist where they robbed the baseball stadium, and they're all great. This idea of a bunch of friends robbing these places, going on missions again, but still dealing with this idea of he wants out, and for this from because of who Doug is falling in love with is a witness. It makes it a lot more intriguing because it has effect on the heist. So it's not just a heist and then a side romance thing. It has direct dividends, and she's being investigated by the FBI. And I love the idea at the beginning. She asked, "Do I need an attorney?" And the main FBI agent's like, "No, you don't." But then once she lies to them about the tattoo on the shoulder, then she's like, "I was wrong. You do need an attorney." And I was like, "Ah." And I love, and you know what? Another intense scene was the lunch scene. And it's weird because normally that any other film in any other circumstance, just two people going to lunch wouldn't have that much effect or intention. But when Jeremy Renner's character comes in, she knows about the tattoo. He comes in, it's such a tense scene because he wants to make sure he doesn't see the tattoo, and when he goes to hug Doug, he grabs the neck, and I was like, that's such a tense scene, and then when she ultimately finds out, and it was just it just because the heists are so great, and because the main story at hand about this guy going on these different heists, but yet wants out for this girl who's a witness from another heist, and their relationship that is so strong, and their chemistry that is so strong. On top of Doug's old girlfriend, and that dynamic, and yet still having to go on these elaborate and awesome heists, and yet being followed by an FBI, and so many different aspects, so many different characters, so many different ideas to this film, but it's all balanced and executed so great from a direction, but also a script standpoint. Where it never feels like the FBI agents were undercut, any less or any more than the robbers and the heists, and they were all just great because they all connected to these heists, and they were really coming down to this first heist and how that affected Claire and how their relationship spawned. And at first he's just trying to get information from her, and then they fall in love. And I don't know, and at the ending when he gave the money he stole to her, and it was just special. It was that special kind of awesome because it all panned out, or it had nearly everything you wanted from a film like this. It had the great, elaborate, and awesome heists with the action scenes. It had the awesome, cat and mouse between the FBI and the agents, or in the robbers. But what it added beyond every other heist film, and I don't think this film's better than Heat in the aspect of heists and whatever, or just the film overall. But what makes this special and makes it different is the element of having of the Claire and Doug relationship, because the idea of that, on paper it sounds great too, one of the witnesses that they let go, or that they just let, off the hook, that they kidnapped and left off the hook, then the main robber falls in love with the witness. Yet he's trying to protect her, but yet he's trying to make sure he stays out of the papers. You know what I mean? This idea, like, he falls in love with one of the witnesses, but yet and she doesn't know, and he wants to protect her, but he at the same time wants to make sure he doesn't get caught. I think that's the best way to put it in that element, but yet the great and the execution, where the script must be so strong in this film, and the execution is stronger with these great, elaborate sequences, and the great shootouts and the car chases and the first heist with the tension of putting jittery hands. And I just think this film on every level executed it, where it had so many things going for it, and for my money executed it with perfection. And this idea of the relation, again, I'll constantly go to that relationship, because that core relationship between Claire and Doug drives everything, and it does that because of that bottom line truth of he wants out but constantly gets forced in, with that struggle of not finding any other way, not finding other choice, any life for himself beyond crime, and that relationship symbolizes more. But because it was with the witness, it means so much more value, because that there's more tension to it than just two people falling in love, like a lot of romance films. And what appeals to me more than again most romance films is he's trying to make sure he doesn't get caught, but she is still working with the FBI and while still talking to him about the crime and heist, and so many twists and turns, so many great reveals. I really enjoyed this film. It was, great performances by Ben Affleck, and great directing by Ben Affleck too. So stay tuned for videos coming at you.